Hi, everybody, and welcome to Studio 66, the 18th year of the nation's longest-running conference pregame show. I'm Doug Bell, alongside the former OSU Cowboy, Brendan Manzer. And after 4 weeks, the Big 12 standings are getting all stacked up, Brendan. What's going on?
With the exception of the Jayhawks.
Yeah.
They're 5-0. A lot of ball left, but obviously there's some teams that cannot have any slip-ups if they want to stay within arm's length of Kansas. Big games today on the slate here in the Big 12 Conference.
And one of our first games today in the Big 12 Network has K-State at Iowa State. And after that 14-0 start, the Cyclones have lost 3 in a row. Look out, K-State's pretty good.
And they're excellent defensively. The team in the league that makes the less defensive mistakes, they're number one in protecting the three-point shot as well. And that's Iowa State's MO. They've got to knock down some shots, but also as importantly, they've got to take care of the basketball, Doug. They've turned it over too much as of late.
And looking inside the numbers, the Cyclones' defense has been lacking during the three-game skid. DeAndre Kane has been much more careless with the basketball. And to find out more, let's check in with the guys calling the game, Mitch Holtis and Chris Piper.
Doug and Brendan, welcome to the Bounce Back Bowl. There's only 2 games today involving teams in the top 25 against each other. This is one of them. Both of these teams, Chris Piper, need to bounce back. What happens here?
Is it too early for a must-win situation? I mean, Iowa State, you look at today, so important to be able to hold serve at home, but then you look down the road for them. And they've got at Kansas, they got at Oklahoma State, they have Oklahoma coming back in here as well. So huge, huge game for Iowa State. Both these teams coming off losses against Texas. Obviously, Kansas State in a battle for the to defend the Big 12 championship. So a huge game for both sides. And when we saw these teams last year, they both went at it. Close, tight game. Expect that today.
Yes, we expect that today. Again, Kansas State has a gut shot loss at Texas on Tuesday night. It's been a rough couple of weeks for Iowa State. Should be a good one here.
All right, guys, thank you. The other game today on the Big 12 Network, Texas at Baylor, 2 teams going in opposite directions, don't you think?
Hey, Texas has been solid. I love the fact that they are solid in every phase of the game. Javon Felix has played very well since being inserted in the lineup 3 games ago. Texas very confident right now going into Waco. Obviously, Baylor struggling.
Hey, last Tuesday night, the Longhorns won a thriller against K-State. Jonathan Holmes gets the good luck with time running out, and he drains it from the corner. The Longhorns now 4-2 in the Big 12. And Dave Armstrong sat down with Rick Barnes just moments ago.
Coach, you guys have won 4 in a row now. You're playing really, really well. What are some of the things you like about your team?
Well, after the way we got started in the league, our first 3 league games, we put our opponents on the free throw line 100 times. And we were fouling way too much, turning the ball over way too much. We've settled down somewhat in those areas, and we got to continue that because you just can't foul people the way we were fouling them. And we seem to have found a pretty good rhythm with, I think, our players understanding what each one of them needs to do to help us win.
You take on a Baylor team today that's going to be very hungry because they've lost 3 in a row. What are some of your keys today?
Well, I think this time of year, Dave, we all of us better be hungry. You know, we better be ready and just as hungry as anybody. But I think it goes back to I always believe transition defense is important, and that means, too, taking care of the basketball, not allowing Baylor to get out in the open court because of turnovers out front, and rebounding will be a very important part of this game because both teams rely so much on getting to the glass.
Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys, thanks. Brendan, Rick Barnes has been at this a long time. Had some great teams at Texas. Is this the best coaching job he's ever done at Texas?
Well, I think you can argue that, Doug. And I tell you why it's been so terrific this year. He does not have a superstar. I mean, he's got good players that are playing well together. Javon Felix, as I just mentioned, playing much better. Cameron Ridley, 15 and 10 over the last 3 basketball games. They defend well, they're rebounding, they're taking care of the basketball. This is a team that I think they want to be there. You know, he's had so many guys in recent years that were just waiting to go to the NBA. These guys are ready to be Longhorns, and they're playing exactly the way that he wants them to. Very solid in all phases right now.
Baylor, on the other hand, they need to shore up their defense. On Big Monday against Kansas, they were shredded, especially inside.
Well, during their losing streak, this has been a kind of a problem for them. They lose at Tech. Tech shoots 57% from the floor. The second half against Oklahoma, Doug, last Saturday, they shoot 58% of the floor. And then the Jayhawks dominated, shooting 58% from the floor as well. They're getting dominated in the paint. You saw that against Kansas, which you wouldn't expect with the size, length, and athleticism that they have. But Baylor's problems, you could dissect it in many ways. But to me right now, it's the defensive end of the floor. playing more man than they have in the past. Obviously, we know they play lots of zone, but they've got to get defensive stops or they're going to struggle or continue to struggle in league play.
Yeah, we have two excellent matchups in our first stanza here on the Big 12 Network. Coming up, some of you will see K-State's Thomas Gibson against Iowa State. The big man coming off a career-high 24 points against Texas, making nearly 70% of his shots, while others are going to see the Longhorns and sophomore point guard Javon Felix against Baylor. Felix averaging 18 points in his last 4 games. He has been a stabilizing force for Rick Barnes and Texas. You by Phillips 66, proud to be here. Motel 6, the official economy lodging partner of Big 12 fans everywhere. And by Whataburger. Swing by Whataburger today to pick up the newest all-time favorite, the Monterey Melt. Coming up in the Big 12 Network, George Niang leads the Cyclones against K-State. The talented sophomore scored double figures 10 of the last 11 games, including 18 or more 5 times. He's a good one. And in Waco, Brady Heslop looks to pick up where he left off last Monday when he scored 19 off the bench against Kansas. Texas will have their eyes on one of the best three-point shooters in the country. Welcome back to Studio 66. Doug Bell and Brendan Manzer. 3 players in the Big 12 are now among the finalists for the Wooden Award, which is given to the most outstanding player in college basketball. No surprise when you see DeAndre Kane, Marcus Smart, Andrew Wiggins. Some people may be surprised Joel Embiid.
Where's Joel Embiid, Doug?
Well, he's not on that list, but keep in mind last year Victor Oladipo of Indiana was not on the midseason list either, and he ended up winning it when it was all said and done.
Like an at-large bid. Embiid needs to be in there, obviously. That's an obvious statement.
No question. He's playing perhaps better than anybody right now in the Big 12. At 1 o'clock today, that's Central Time, ESPN2. It's the rematch between West Virginia and Oklahoma State. And we talked with Bob Huggins in Morgantown on Wednesday, Brendan, and that one-point loss still stings.
Yeah, when they got beat by Oklahoma State, Markel Brown hadn't hit a 3 in a month.
Yeah.
Knocks it down. They escaped Morgantown with the win, and they struggled their last couple of games after that, but West Virginia played well Wednesday night. We know so much about Marcus Smart. Everything Travis Ford, Doug, asked him to do, he does and more. I mean, he's second into the Big 12 conference play in rebounding, only behind Ryan Spangler. 1 assist shy of a triple-double against Kansas. There's going to be one of the great guard matchups here today, because you and I saw Jawan Staten Wednesday night in person. He can flat out go. Number 1 in the league in assists, top 5 in scoring, top 5 in steals, and at 6 feet tall, he averages 6 rebounds a game. If you love great point guard matchups, this will be maybe the best point guard matchup in the country today. Now remember, West Virginia, they're explosive. They have other guys that can score. Oklahoma State will have to be ready.
And looking at the head-to-head meetings, Smart has had the better numbers, but Staten has clearly elevated his game. He's one of 4 Division I players who average at least 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. The little man plays very, very large for Bob Huggins. Look forward to watching that one. A huge crowd expected in Lubbock today when the Red Raiders host OU on the Big 12 Network at 3 o'clock. Brendan, in talking with Tubby Smith on Wednesday, I sense that he really likes where his team is right now. He likes the fact they're playing better defensively.
Well, they're better defensively. They're playing with some maturity. Robert Turner's been good at the point guard position, but they're going to have to deal with a very tough Ryan Spangler for Oklahoma today. I want to talk about a glass eater. He is by far, in my opinion, the best rebounder in the Big 12. Now watch this. This is him on the offensive glass. Kavar Shepard doesn't hold off the seal long enough. Spangler just waits for that opportunity, leads the Big 12 Conference in offensive rebounds. And this is the most important thing that Ryan Spangler brings to Oklahoma. He controls the defensive glass, Doug. It's allowed Oklahoma to play up-tempo, play fast, where they are at their best. Texas has got to slow down Oklahoma in transition today.
Tonight at 8 o'clock on ESPNU, it's 8th-ranked Kansas at TCU, a place where the Jayhawks played their worst game of the season a year ago and prompted Bill Self into one of the most memorable postseason quotes I think the coach has ever had. Let's listen.
No, it is the worst team that Kansas has ever put on the floor since Dr. Naismith was there. I think he had some bad teams when he lost to Topeka YMCA and things like that in the first couple of years. But for the first half, there hasn't been a team play worse than that offensively. That hasn't happened.
That was funny, Bill Self. Of course, he's feeling better because he has the big man on campus right now.
Those Topeka Y teams had good guards, from what I understand. But, hey, here's the most dominant man in the paint right now in the entire country, Joel Embiid, affecting that lane on both ends of the floor. 8 blocks against Oklahoma State. Only had one Monday night against Baylor, Doug. But you could tell they felt his presence where they were only 8 or 21 from shots in the paint. They've obviously gotten better as the season has progressed.
Yeah, and the Big 12 much different than the non-conference. But keep in mind the losses to Colorado, Villanova, Florida, and San Diego State, 4 pretty good teams. But they are clearly peaking right now. Hey, let's not forget Melvin Ejim leading Iowa State. Some of you will see the Cyclones taking on K-State. Ejim clearly one of the best players in the Big 12 and in the country. And how about Cameron Ridley? The big man for Texas is playing the best basketball of his young career. Last 3 games, he's averaging 15 points, 10 rebounds, and shooting 72%. Look out, Baylor. Some of you will see Shane Southwell at K-State in Ames against Iowa State. Southwell is the Wildcats' best defensive player, no doubt. Down in Waco, Baylor's Corey Jefferson is averaging 13 points, 8 rebounds. Figures to be a key factor in today's rivalry against the Texas Longhorns.
Mine was earned orbiting the moon in 19.
Welcome to Waco and the Farrell Center as Phillips 66 presents Big 12 basketball. And today, what a matchup. Two teams going in opposite directions. The Baylor Bears have lost 3 in a row, and today they host the Longhorns of Texas, who have won 4 straight. Well, hi again, everyone. I'm Dave Armstrong, along with Reed Geddes. Reed, someone's poked the bear. We'll see what Baylor is made of today.
You know, Bill Self said the Big 12 schedule is like a baseball game, and we're just in the bottom of the third. If it's the bottom of the third, let me just say this next at-bat for Baylor is really important.
Yes, it is. So we'll see what the Bears are made of here today against the Longhorns, who are red hot. And we'll check out our Sonic Showdown, a battle of the bigs.
If you combine the front court statistics for both teams, a very even matchup. Both of these teams try to dominate you on the glass and in the paint.
So let's check out the starting 5 for these two teams. Let's start with the visitors from Austin, Texas, as Isaiah Taylor, one of the outstanding freshmen in this conference, leads the way, along with DeMarcus Holland and Javon Felix, who is their leading scorer right now over the last several games. Jonathan Holmes coming off a game where he hit a game winner against K-State, and of course Ridley. Now for the Bears, it's Kenny Cherry leading the way, a junior college transfer doing a great job. Royce O'Neal, another transfer student from Denver. Then Torian Prince getting his second straight start, along with Corey Jefferson and Isaiah Austin.
Both of these teams try to just pound you on the offensive glass. The two best rebounding teams in the Big 12.
Give me a couple of keys for both teams.
I think a key's really going to be for Texas. They need to have more assists than Baylor. When Baylor has more assists than the opponents, they're 10-0. And for Texas, they have to limit their live ball turnovers.
Save, and a good save by Royce O'Neal. So it'll be Kenny Cherry and the Baylor Bears starting with the ball first in their home white jerseys. Man-to-man for Texas. Jefferson trying to back in, nothing there. Torian Prince started against the Jayhawks on Monday night, was a non-factor, got into quick foul trouble. Shot clock is down to 7. And a turnover. Here comes Taylor. An empty possession to start the game for Baylor.
Excellent on-the-ball screen defense by the Longhorns.
Felix being guarded in this zone defense by Jefferson. Baylor comes out in what looks like a 1-3-1.
It's interesting. It's a 1-3-1 with Kenny Cherry in the middle, so it's trying to throw a different look, a different zone at the Longhorns.
Holland penetrates the zone, out to Felix for 3. And slammed home by Ridley.
That is going to be a tough matchup for the thin Isaiah Austin, blocking out the big wide body of Cameron Ridley.
Ridley's a little less wide than he used to be and playing at a much higher level in his sophomore year. Austin, good ball fake. Wraparound pass, and it's stolen away somehow by DeMarcus Holland. What a good anticipation by that youngster.
Not a very good start for the Baylor Bears. An interesting zone. It starts out, usually you would have Isaiah Austin in the middle of your 1-3-1 and a little guard running the baseline. As soon as one pass is made, it shifts into a 2-3, but it sure doesn't look like that's starting out.
The rebounding is going to be so key, and that time it was Austin who was able to get it. Now Prince trying to work on Felix. Prince, a three-pointer is off, no good. Ridley with another rebound.
Prince at 6'7" has got 5'11" Javon Felix guarding him. I don't think Scott Drew wants him shooting threes. You go post up Felix.
Good penetration that time, and a nice runner by Isaiah Taylor. Not the kind of start Baylor was hoping for in front of their home crowd.
Well, not on either end of the court.
Well, they finally get on the board, though, with Torian Prince. Here comes Taylor again. Youngster loves to penetrate, really good doing that. And one and done as O'Neal grabs the rebound.
Penetrated that time and didn't really want to shoot the ball. Ended up shooting it almost because he had to.
And then a weak pass. Taylor picks that one off. Felix in transition, a 3 is well short. He's 0 for 2 from three-point range. The ball goes out of bounds and it'll belong to the Bears.
Not a very good start for Scott Drew's basketball team. Javon Felix missed a big opportunity there. He'd have hit that shot, and Scott Drew was up ready to call a timeout.
In his 11th year, looking over his playbook, 191s in his hip pocket, but look at this. Starting the year 12-1, and now losers of 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. In their first 5 possessions, 3 turnovers for Scott Drew's Bears. They bring Heslop off the bench. He got a great entry pass into O'Neal, who fumbled it. Felix doesn't settle. From the short corner, Holland. It's one of the concerns for Scott Drew today and the Bears is transition defense.
Texas is at their best, not necessarily in their primary break. It's the second wave that comes at you.
Cherry doesn't take many threes. That one goes up over the glass and will go out of bounds and belong to Texas.
Well, nice stop, Javon Felix. He drives the baseline. Look at the top of your screen. DeMarcus Holland floating out to the corner to spot up for a pressure release.
Holland more of a defensive player, Reed, than he is an offensive one, but he'll add
solid
8
numbers,
points.
yeah.
He's solid points for DeMarcus Holland.
And on the boards, he's helping out. He averages 5 rebounds per game.
He's one of those glue guys, right?
Absolutely.
Holmes found a weakness in his zone, scoops it up. Look at this start by the Longhorns, 8-2 the beginning. And a timeout taken by Scott Drew. Not happy at all. Look at all the turnovers so far for the Baylor Bears. They are just not figuring out the defense of the Longhorns. So back to the drawing board for Scott Drew.
They're getting good looks. I mean, they got the ball inside point blank, but they're just not defending very well. And this situation where Jonathan Holmes gets the ball at the high post, you've got Kenny Cherry in between Jonathan and the basket. So that's your point guard at 5'11", in between the power forward for Texas. Scott Drew, at a minimum, you got to keep your body. You have to be able to move your feet side to side to stay in front of Jonathan Holmes. And that is a very frustrating start and just terrible defense so far for the Bears.
Now the other way with Jonathan Holmes, one of 4 different Longhorns who have scored in this game. They have 4 field goals, 4 different players. So they're spreading the wealth like they've done pretty much all season long. They have 4 guys that average double figures. Holmes, by the way, coming off that game where he hit the game winner with time expiring against Kansas State, a 3-pointer from the corner to win it.
Did not have a very good basketball game shooting the ball up to that point, and boy, he sure shot that one with confidence. Baylor needs a good execution this time.
Rico Gathers is checked in. Another turnover, not quite. That was tipped, so it's not over and back. Cherry pulls up. Baylor a little bit lucky there on that possession. Holmes drives right in and is fouled. Boy, a path was created, and Holmes went right down the lane. So the Baylor Bears off to a sluggish start, but Kenny Cherry gives them a little bit of life. We're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66. Texas has got to be happy with the way they're penetrating the zone of the Bears. Reed, explain how they're getting inside so easily.
It's Jonathan Holmes, and he's attacking the guards. Here's the first one. Watch when Jonathan Holmes gets this ball. He catches the ball. Keep it going. He catches the ball. Now look right here. That's Kenny Cherry guarding him. And it's the guards that aren't staying between them. If you're Kenny Cherry, what you want him to do is put it on the floor. And then the very next time you see Brady Hislop, and that's Jonathan Holmes dribbling right past Brady Hislop. Those guards, you get down low, and if you're guarding Jonathan Holmes, you want him to put the ball on the floor, because then that takes away his height and size advantage.
Here's Holmes hitting both free throws. He's the leading scorer with 4 points. Holmes, one of the most improved guys in this conference this year.
Maybe the most. I think of Tony Crocker at Oklahoma.
Right.
Well, Jonathan Holmes is in that discussion.
Heslop. Would have been good from 3, and now a foul going for the rebound. This one's on Royce O'Neal. That's the second team foul on the Bears.
Brady Hislop may be in that conversation of improved players.
I agree with you. Hislop, I think not in terms of his shooting, because he was a good shooter as well last year. But
he's
he's
making.
Right. But it's not just the making. I think he's better off the dribble this year than he was a year ago.
I agree. And they're using him so well. We'll see him. He sets a lot of back screens for those bigs. Well, Texas not prepared for a half-court trap by the Baylor Bears, and DeMarcus Holland got trapped in the corner, and Brady Hislop did a nice job of taking away the return pass, and early defensive adjustment by Baylor.
Man, almost 6 minutes in, Reed. Only 2 points, or 4 points, excuse me, for the Bears. There's Holmes again, fumbled at that time.
Prince Ebay was open inside, and DeMarcus Holland did not see him.
3-point attempt, and that'll be an offensive foul. This one is, I think, on eBay. It is his first.
Well, maybe more important for Rick Barnes than the offensive foul was the fact, or maybe not important, maybe more impactful, is that Isaiah Taylor, who does not shoot many threes, took one, and I'm telling you, he missed it by 3 feet.
Yeah, that's only the 12th attempt from three-point range all year for the freshman.
And has only made 3 of those 12 coming into this game. There's the back screen by Heslop, and a nice job fighting through it of Jonathan Holmes.
Taylor really getting into the kitchen of Kenny Cherry, isn't he? Austin. Spin move into the lane, and he is fouled by Ebay, who picks up his second.
A nice set. You set the on-the-ball screen by Isaiah Austin so he can pick and pop, and a pretty good closeout. You see Jonathan Holmes, he closed out, his hands were down, his knees were bent, and if you press up too much, Isaiah Austin has that ability to put it on the floor and go by you.
Good shooter for a big man, Austin. Coming off a game in which he had 16 points against the Jayhawks. The Bears losing to Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse, 78-68. Baylor, though, over their last 3 games, all losses, they played by far and away their best game against KU.
And Isaiah Austin was 4 for 8 behind the 3-point line in that game in Lawrence.
Pressure by Heslop, and Taylor goes right around him. And then no one comes over to help defensively.
The most important man on the floor.
Guy with the ball.
Yeah. Great defense by DeMarcus Holland, denying Kenny Cherry the ball. He's just face guarding him, making somebody else run Baylor's offense other than Kenny Cherry.
Tough guarded shot. Holland was right in his face. Offensive rebound and step back. The best offensive rebounder in the conference, Rico gathers.
Sometimes we talk about quick on quick. That was strong on strong. Man, that was a man-sized rebound.
Holmes with a fadeaway, no. O'Neal clears the glass. Down it if it goes, and a foul. This one's on Holmes.
The best offensive rebounder in the Big 12, one of the best in the country, and a nice box out by Cameron Ridley. And, you know, going over the back is not a foul, only when you go on the back. And that was a good rebound by Rico.
Only a 53% free throw shooter on the year. Good-looking transfer from Denver, though.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I don't know how a kid shoots 55% from the floor and 53 from the free throw line.
And when you see his form, he doesn't look like a 53% free throw shooter. And Baylor inching back into it within 3. Felix back in there for Texas, along with Lammert. Turnover by Holland. Just a bad pass. First turnover, though, for the Longhorns. Gathers. Well, he gathered up a head of steam, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
And Ridley clears the glass. Felix wants to run. Walker turned down the 3, and he'll go to the line.
A nice job by Felix of passing the ball ahead. He got that ball on the outlet. Took one dribble, had his head up the entire way, and Martez Walker spotting up. And, you know, that is one of the most underrated skills of point guards today, in my opinion, is the ability and the willingness to pass that ball ahead.
Martez Walker at the line. Yeah, Felix doing a good job. And the thing I'm noticing so far is how easily the Longhorns are beating the exterior zone and getting into the interior of that zone.
If you're going to run a zone, in theory, it's to take away the inside attack. And you take away driving angles and gaps. And right now, Texas getting to that high post area just about at will.
That slip. That was. Marcus Croker got right in there quickly. And then a good rebound by Walker. 4 freshmen all playing for the Longhorns. And a whistle and a foul way away from the ball as Ridley and Jefferson got tangled up, and will step aside. So it's Jefferson and the Bears being held at arm's length by the Texas Longhorns. Between these two, in fact, for each, it's the most common opponent. So the Longhorns have played the Bears more than anybody else in their history, and right now they lead by 4. Hey, we invite you to play basket pong at Phillips 66, a chance to win prizes instantly and shoot for $66,000. Phillips 66, proud to be here. So are we. With Reed Geddes, I'm Dave Armstrong, watching the Texas Longhorns, who are coached by Rick Barnes in his 16th year. And he loves this team. He loves the grittiness of this team. He says they're more coachable. And right now, his team, they lead in this game, Reed, but I think the lead should be at least 10 the way they're playing.
I agree with you. They're doing a great job attacking the zone, but for some reason, the Bears are hanging around, not playing very well.
Felix gets it into the middle of that zone again. Now Croker.
Nice seal on the backside.
Croker, three-point shot off, no good. So far, that's the one thing. They haven't found the range from three-point land, 0 for 3 so far. And the foul here is on Ish Wainwright, trying to get a rebound.
A big wide body trying to muscle up Cameron Ridley. He's giving him fits. Cameron ducked inside of him for an offensive pass he didn't get, and then on the offensive rebound.
Taylor out, Felix now the point.
A bit of confusion as to what they're running.
Ridley got great position, but then had it blocked. Well, he ran into two twin towers in Austin and Jefferson. Jefferson, a runner that doesn't go. And Ridley with yet another rebound. Felix off the glass, no. Lammert fighting for it, tie up. The possession arrow will give the ball to the Longhorns.
A nice hustle by Connor Lammert. You see one burnt orange jersey down there circled by 4 whites, and a good hustle play by Lammert to come up with that ball. I like the way Javon Felix catches the ball on the outlet pass headed up the court. Rarely is he headed back towards his rebounder. He starts out on the wing, does a little banana cut, and catches that ball on the run.
A couple of bowling pins fell in that lane, and nothing called. You see that Isaiah Taylor has checked back in. I think Coach Barnes saw the same confusion on that last possession and said, well, we better get Taylor back in there. And again, he's able to penetrate that zone.
The dribble penetration to the high post has been dominant the first several minutes of this game for the Longhorns.
And the Longhorns now matching their biggest lead of the game. Wainwright, big body that can play the point, and he muscles his way in and will go to the line.
Isaiah Taylor, look at the ability to penetrate the gaps, and that's just a lack of communication. You saw Brady Heslett step towards the ball and out on the wing. Corey Jefferson never came over and rotated, and it's an adjustment that Scott Drew's going to have to make.
Foul there was on Ridley, his first, the 4th team foul on the Longhorns this half. Wainwright at the line, and I know he's got to be a better free throw shooter than this. 9 for 18 coming into this game.
He's huge. I didn't appreciate how big he is. I mean, he looks like a linebacker for Art Briles.
And he plays the point. He's 6'5", about 250.
Better job right now defending the wings, especially by Ish Wainwright up there at the top of the screen.
You can see Texas is going inside. That penetration of the zone, and there they go again. A little floater by Taylor, no. Wainwright, he's doing a good job off the bench.
He is. Good up fake.
And there's Isaiah Austin on the follow. And a pickoff. Good play by Franklin, but he can't get the layup to go. The ball will belong to Baylor.
I don't know if there was any contact at all, but Franklin sure acted like he got clobbered by Jonathan Holmes. A careless inbounds pass by Texas. Look again, you see him just setting up the steal, and no, that's good defense.
Austin, and he is fouled by Lammert. That's the first on Connor Lammert.
Isaiah Austin doing a nice job getting the defensive player to move laterally. If you can get those big guys moving their feet side to side, the long, lanky body of Isaiah Austin able to wrap around and drop step up and under.
Austin revealed recently that he is blind in one eye, an accident that happened way back when he was in the 8th grade. And you know what? I give this kid so much credit for coming out, first of all, with a story. And I was talking with Bears yesterday. And they were saying that it's already been a huge inspiration to other kids. How many kids have come to him for advice, for counsel? And he said, and Isaiah has been great with all of them in helping them overcome some sort of an obstacle themselves.
What did his mother say to him? It can be your excuse or your life story. He has decided to make it his life story.
Felix again. Doesn't go. And a whistle and a foul. This one on Cherry after the rebound by DeMarcus Holland.
You know, let me say something else about Isaiah Austin, because you hear a lot of people in the media, a lot of experts, and when they talk about Isaiah Austin, they're critical and they say, you know, he's just not tough enough. Yeah. You know what? Careful what you say about a kid when you don't know his story. Everybody who has said that ought to send him a text and apologize, because there may be a lot of things he's not, but tough is not one of them.
Who's tougher than that?
Jeez, are you kidding me?
And to play at the level that he's played, amazing. What a great story.
Great story.
Felix still can't find the range in this game. He's 0 for the game so far. Here's Franklin pulling up for 3. Boy, Franklin's numbers have dropped off since Big 12 play began. In fact, in his last 4 games, he's averaged just 1 point on 1 of 16 shooting.
I'm telling you, Isaiah Taylor is killing this Baylor zone. When you play a zone, and especially against a kid who can't shoot threes or hasn't shot threes, man, if you don't have both feet in the paint, you ought to at least have one. And to close out of control is almost inexcusable.
Jefferson really hasn't been much of a factor in this game so far. And a whistle and a foul on Felix as Wainwright got inside.
Nice adjustment by Rick Barnes. A lot of times when this lineup's on the floor, it's Isaiah Taylor that runs the point and Javon Felix runs the 2. Right now, Rick has got Taylor out on the wing to allow him to dribble and attack those gaps, and pretty smart adjustment. It's a good-looking freshman, Dave. I'm telling you, we are going to talk a lot about this kid for the next 4 years.
I hope he sticks around for a while. So here's Cherry now. He's really been bottled up. Texas on the inbounds play in his own. Austin has it blocked by Holmes. Holland to 3. In and out, no good. Look at that rebound, though, by Holmes. Wow.
The best rebounding team in the Big 12.
And another foul on Felix.
Boy, that's 2 quick ones on Felix.
So he might have to go to the bench now as Javon Felix picks up his 2nd foul. But the inside rebounding has been a strength for the Longhorns. And we're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66. today's Wendy's Wooden Watch, and 3 guys from the Big 12 who are involved in DeAndre Kane, Marcus Smart, Andrew Wiggins, all very well deserving, but there is one name that is left off of the top 25 candidates that is puzzling that he's not in there.
Holy smokes. I don't know who votes on the midseason, and last year was bad enough you didn't have Victor Oladipo in the midseason award, but Joel Embiid is not on the list as the top 25 candidates when he might be the unanimous consensus #1 pick right now in the NBA.
Yeah. How do the voters miss that?
I don't know.
Embiid is just blowing up. We were talking to some NBA people before the game today, and they were singing his praises, talking about how he very likely could be the #1 pick overall. 1-and-1 opportunity here for Taurean Prince. In his last 7 games, Prince has averaged 12 points. He did not play well against Kansas, got into early foul trouble, played only 11 minutes, did not have any points, and only had 1 rebound.
Well, you talked about averaging that 12 points per game, and that's in only 19 minutes that he's averaging. High efficiency. Baylor continues to defend Isaiah Taylor out here 35 feet from the basket.
Ridley is wide open, didn't turn. And Taylor tries a 3 again. Not a good 3-point shooter. 0 for 2 in this game.
I don't think Cameron Ridley knew he was wide open. He caught that ball and immediately was looking weak side and never checked the defense.
Yeah, 2 feet in the paint.
Catch the ball, check the defense. Catch the ball, check the defense.
Quick pass. Gathers, can't get it to go the first time, and then a fight for the rebound with Holmes. Not for the faint of heart.
No,
there.
I was just thinking the exact same thing. Had that been me, I think my shoulder would have just been ripped out of joint. My goodness. I mean, it is a man's game here today.
Gathers comes in. He was the top player in the state of Louisiana. He's a basketball player and a good one with a football body. I mean, I am sure that Coach Briles of the Baylor Bear football team looks at him and says, man, son, you should be playing tight end.
Antonio Gates.
Yeah. I mean, so as big as he is.
Fluid.
And he's very fluid for a guy that's that muscular.
He reminds me a lot of you and I when we're working out.
Not combined. Walker's 3, no. And there'll be a foul. Ridley up over the back, and that's his second. So Ridley has 2. Felix has 2. Some foul trouble early on here for the Longhorns.
So Texas is about 0 for 6 behind the 3-point line. They are killing your zone with dribble penetration. I'm going to say it again. Rick Barnes' team, when they cross half court, I would expect them to see 5 white shirts standing inside the paint.
Yeah. Until they can prove they can hit that 3, why wouldn't you, if you're Baylor, just pack that zone in? Now here is Gathers again. It was the 9th team foul, so it's a 1-and-1 opportunity. And Gathers only a 54% free throw shooter, but he'll get the bonus.
Has 20 more offensive rebounds than the next closest teammate, and that is only 19 minutes per game.
And again, he's the best offensive rebounder in the conference. Jefferson checks back in, and good minutes there for Rico Gathers. Solid.
You know, it's interesting. Baylor's fans suddenly getting into the game, and you know what? In kind of a twisted way, Scott's got to be kind of pleased. I mean, they have not played very well at all. They've been terrible defensively, and yet here they are hanging around.
Texas is finding a weakness in that zone, though, and they're getting into the paint. Most of their points, Texas, coming from the paint.
And very few of them coming from post players.
Right. Cherry gets bumped. And he'll go to the line. That's the 10th team foul on the Longhorns, so Baylor in the double bonus.
Lambert with the foul. That's his second team foul, 10.
Lambert with 2 fouls now.
Shakespeare Bears.
So Kenny Cherry, one of their better free throw shooters at 86%.
Big 12, he is 3rd in assists behind Staten, Jawan Staten, and DeAndre Kane. And His numbers, assist to turnover ratio, has been simply outstanding. 3-1 for the season. He is 4-1 in Big 12 games. And Dave, in the last 7 games, he has an amazing 5-1 assist to turnover ratio.
How do you compare him to a Pierre Jackson from last year?
A completely different player.
Yeah.
You know, Pierre was always looking for Pierre's shot, and that's not a knock. I mean, that was Pierre Jackson's role, and that is not Kenny Cherry's role, and he has not tried to play it.
He's more of a distributor.
Absolutely.
And a defender. Blocked by Isaiah Austin. Heslop in transition, the 3. Nope. And eBay clears the glass.
Nice job finding Brady Heslop in transition and contesting that shot. That is when Heslop's at his best.
Heslop's 0 for 2 from three-point range. That's a news bulletin. Yeah. He goes 0 for 2. Boy, look at the position by eBay, and Austin just slapped it out of there. Austin, ball fake, and then pushed by eBay. So Prince eBay picks up.
Isaiah Austin, number 2 in the Big 12 in block shots, trailing only Cameron Ridley, and a little bit of frustration that time. Isaiah Austin blocks his shot on one end and then draws a foul on the other.
So it's a lead for Texas, Reed, but now you're starting to see, all right, we're going to check out the depth of the Longhorns, because eBay has just picked up his 3rd foul. 2 fouls on Lammert, 2 fouls on Ridley, 2 fouls on Felix.
And Texas can go 9 or 10 deep, but they do not get the same production from players 9 and 10 that Scott Drew does. Bears have 9 players that come into this game averaging over 13 minutes per game.
Baylor's missing free throws left and right. They did it against Oklahoma. They're doing it today. They're only 12 of 17 from the line in this game. You know, we've not seen 1-3 go in the game yet by either team. Baylor 0 for 6, Texas 0 for 5.
Wow. Baylor, the #1 3-point shooting team in the league this year.
Mostly on the strength of Brady Heslop, and Franklin was that way early on. He was a 50% free throw shooter until league play started. The foul here is on Torian Prince, and that'll send Kendall Yancey to the line, one of the other fabulous 4 freshmen for the Longhorns. Yancey started 10 games this year. And he can't hit a free throw. Well, Baylor with a chance now to take their first lead of the game. Prince with a fadeaway. Got it. And Baylor does have their first lead of the game. And the crowd back into it. Fake, and Austin with the foul.
Connor Lammert missed a golden opportunity to get all the way to the rim and finish that play. A beautiful up fake over his left shoulder to get Austin up off the ground. But then instead of stepping to the basket, he kind of steps away from it. Look at him, gets him up off the feet. And then you see his step is coming outside of the paint instead of towards the basket.
And a front end of a 1-and-1 missed again for Texas. Prince behind the back has it poked away. By the way, that last foul was called on Austin. He has 2 now.
eBay is open for a lob if somebody sees him.
Instead of a lob, the little handoff. That works too.
Again, set up by the dribble penetration of Isaiah Taylor.
It was interesting in shoot around last night. The coaches were working hard with Taylor to show him where the holes would be in this defense as far as the zone was concerned. And well, he figured that out in a hurry, didn't he? Austin kind of steps on a foot as he goes to the hoop. But Isaiah Taylor making it happen with his penetration.
For the Studio 66 halftime report, Brendan will have his breakdown of your first half, also highlights of West Virginia at Oklahoma State, and a preview of tonight's Kansas TCU game. Dave Reed, look forward to it. Talk to you in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug. Looking forward to Brendan's breakdown of this half. So far, what we have seen is Isaiah Austin coming up with a couple of fouls in this game. And you look at some Big 12 news and notes, and how about this? 6 teams in the AP top 25. No other conference has as many. Kansas is all of a sudden getting red hot. In fact, their 4 straight wins coming against ranked opponents, and you could really say 5 because Oklahoma wasn't ranked at the time, and they are now. And Iowa State trying to put it back together. They're playing Kansas State right now concurrently with us, and I'm sure Doug will have highlights of that game as well.
You know, interesting to see those Iowa State losses. How many teams in the country started 13-0 and then went on a losing streak? Think about Wisconsin, Ohio State, Oregon did the same thing out in the Pac-12. A big game in Ames today.
A big game here in Waco as well, as the Baylor Bears are trying to make a name for themselves. eBay just comes out and blocks that shot by O'Neal.
O'Neal's coming out wide and leaving Prince eBay down there in the short quarter by himself.
Taylor's bump would have counted had it gone, and the foul here on Kenny Cherry will send Isaiah Taylor to the line.
Isaiah Taylor is so deceptively athletic because he kind of floats, and so you think, oh, he's not that quick or not that explosive. He gets by you in the blink of an eye, and I don't care who you happen to be. You know, you can be Kenny Cherry, you can be whoever, and Isaiah Taylor just has the ability to get past you.
Yeah, he is quicker and more athletic
than he looks.
Yeah, right.
He kind of floats.
He's a little taller than I mean, he's listed at 6'1". He looks like he's 6'2", 6'3". Coming off a game in which he had just 4 points against Kansas State on only 2 of 9 shooting, but bouncing back here today in a big way with almost double figures. And if he does hit this, he'll be in double figures for the 15th time this year.
And already 10 points when he only averages 11. And what he's been really good at the last 2 games is taking care of the basketball, averaging just 2 turnovers per game the last 4, coinciding with Texas's 4-game winning streak.
Except for little snippets, I would say that Texas has done a good job of keeping the crowd out of this game, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
When you look at our Capital One Impact Performance, some potential finalists for our Capital One Cup Impact Performance of the Week. And how about Jonathan Holmes? No question, he had a big impact on the game against Kansas State.
You know, I think maybe what was more impressive than the fact that he took the shot is that he took it with so much confidence. He popped out, he caught the ball was on the right sideline out of bounds play. He steps out from the right block all the way to the corner in a double team and very much poised and composed and caught that ball and knocked it down like he expected to. And the last 2 games, he's been as good as anybody in this conference.
You can log on to CapitalOneCup.com and vote for this week's Impact Performance. So Baylor with only 12 to shoot it now. And the ball was blocked on the entry pass, and a whistle and a foul. This one is on Gathers. So Rico Gathers, he picks up his 3rd foul.
Royce O'Neal not making very good decisions the last 2 or 3 minutes for the Baylor Bears. He came off of a screen and tried to do a half shot, a shot over Prince eBay, as if he had no idea Prince eBay was athletic and could block shots. And then that time he just kind of ran down there and jumped up into him and had a careless turnover.
Are you surprised how low scoring this game is?
I am surprised. Both these teams average 77 points per game coming into this, and I'm really surprised how few assists Baylor has. They came into the game number 2, trailing only Iowa State in assists per game, and they only have 2 assists here in the first half.
Yeah, but they only have 5 buckets.
You know, pretty good efficiency. I guess that's the good news, bad news. 5 baskets.
Whistle and another foul. We'll catch up on that in a second. But first, a reminder that This game is brought to you by Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Live your own star vacation story. Puerto Rico, the all-star island. Visit cpuertorico.com.
If you had the opportunity to talk to Gary Franklin about being in a slump or in a shooting drought, what would you say to him?
I would say when you're in a shooting slump or any kind of a slump, whether, in sports, you have to take your mind out of it. You have to play absent-minded, if you will. You have to not think about where's my arm, where's my hand, where are my feet. Just go play. Just shoot it. Rely on your natural athletic ability. I remember talking to George Brett, Hall of Fame third baseman for the Royals, and I said, when you go through a slump, which was rare in his career, what do you think about when you're at the plate? He goes, all I do is see the ball, hit the ball. That's it. Forget mechanics. And he said, then all of a sudden you get a hit, and one hit leads to three. Franklin on the fly. O'Neal did not want to take on the big man eBay. Heslip, quick trigger. That won't go. Still no threes in this game. And a foul on eBay, fighting for position.
I think they called that on DeMarcus Holland. If so, Rick's going to have to get him out of the game. Royce O'Neal doing a great job rebounding out of position. Look and see. That's going to be on DeMarcus Holland. Gave him a little push as he went up in the air.
So that's the second on Holland.
Let me go back to Gary Franklin. I agree with everything you just said, and I would end that message with, I have never seen a player not shoot his way out of a slump. You start hesitating, go, I'm going to get out of the slump by not shooting. Shoot the ball. You're a shooter. Even with the slump that he's in, he's still the third best three-point shooter percentage-wise in the Big 12.
One of the things Scott Drew said about him yesterday in practice is, despite his own shortcomings offensively of late, he has been a tremendous leader on this team as a senior. So he's not letting his own personal slump get in the way of his leadership responsibilities with his club. Walker. And that would have counted had it gone. The foul here is going to be on Jefferson. Jefferson's kind of had an empty half for the Bears.
Surprisingly.
When you look at Jefferson, he's 0 for 2 in the game, 4 rebounds. His first foul. And now Walker goes to the line. And the free throws are not falling for either team. 7 of 11 for Texas. Lammert trying to track it down. And a whistle and a foul. This one is on Heslip. So that'll send Lammert to the line.
It is not unforgivable, but it's pretty bad when you give up offensive rebounds in a free throw situation. You got two players against one. You've got to pinch him and you've got to stay after it. And that was a situation of Connor Lammert just wanting the ball more than the Baylor Bears.
Is it fair to say, Reed, that in this conference that is so closely matched, that 50-50 balls and rebounding are as big a story week in, week out as anything?
And who can get to the free throw line and now make free throws?
There's Franklin shooting it. That was right on target, just a hair short. O'Neal almost had the steal. Boy, Taylor gets in there quick. There he goes. And Jefferson rips down the rebound. Ahead, Heslip. 1-point game. Timeout taken by Texas.
But that's a good timeout. Isaiah Taylor fell on that left hip, and he's hurting a little bit. And the beneficiary of an early run out, Brady Heslip, with a snowbird easy basket.
It's his first field goal of the game, Heslip. Now urging on his teammates. You can log on to Big12Sports.com/CTV. Check out the Big 12 Network announcer blogs. It's called Covering the Baseline. And this week, Stephen Howard takes a look at the forgotten freshmen. Are there any forgotten ones? Because we've certainly pumped up a lot of freshmen this year.
I'm anxious to read that. You know, one of the freshmen we don't talk enough about is Isaiah Taylor. We don't talk enough about Marcus Foster at Kansas State. I think he's just, man, you talk about a talented kid. Jordan Woodard at Oklahoma.
Well, Well, you're top freshmen in the conference, and there are a ton of them. Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, Marcus Foster, and Isaiah Taylor here with the Longhorns. With a slight nod to Woodard from Oklahoma.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and in no particular order.
Right.
Because if you were going to ask me to order them, I might not do that right yet.
Okay.
But let's just say it's changing.
There's a big guy kind of going up to the top of the class. Maybe?
Yeah, on my list and everybody else's.
The problem, I think, for Wiggins is the expectations were so great. He's having a really good year, solid year. Just he came in and everybody thought he was going to average 40 points a game. And a three-pointer goes, the first one by either team. See the time remaining in the first half. Austin, I don't think was expecting that pass. Has to take a guarded three that doesn't go. So we head to the locker room, and the Texas Longhorns, who are looking for their 5th straight win, come out with a solid first half performance, penetrating into that zone of the Bears. And right now it's Rick Barnes' team leading by 4, 31-27 at the half, as the Bears trying to come out of hibernation with 3 straight losses, trailing by 4 at the half. We'll get you to the studio on the other side of the break.
.66 time now for our Classroom Champion, brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. And Shantae Karen of K-State, a senior with 3.13 GPA, 3-time Big 12 Commissioner's Honor Roll recipient. Congratulations to Shantae, who's doing it both on and off the court. All right, tonight, 8 o'clock, ESPNU. It's Kansas, 8 in the country against TCU a year ago in Fort Worth. The Horned Frogs pulled off the huge upset, and Bill Self made those funny comments after the game. Gosh, we haven't played this bad since we lost to the Topeka YMCA when Dr. Naismith was around. Of course, they turned it on after that, but needless to say, I think Kansas goes in with a sense of purpose this time around maybe they didn't have a year ago.
Well, they're playing very well. They've gotten better at both ends of the floor and been dominant, particularly in the paint. I mean, they've controlled the paint here in the last couple of weeks. And, Doug, that's equivalent of controlling the line of scrimmage in basketball. And where that begins is with Joel Embiid. You're talking about a guy that had 8 blocks against Oklahoma State last Saturday. He only has 1 block against Baylor on Monday night. But it's not just his ability to block shots and the Jayhawks to get off and run, is that his presence makes it very difficult to finish inside. He's been dominant there. Other players of Kansas have gotten better. Nadir Tharp's been good. Harry Ellis was good against Baylor as well. But this team improving like we thought they would.
Yeah, especially in conference play. Look at the numbers, Brendan. Of course, keep in mind the 4 losses non-conference, Florida, Villanova, San Diego State, Colorado. No slouches, but they clearly are a better basketball team.
Well, you play one of the best non-conference schedules in the country, and that's what it has done for Kansas. It has prepared them for the depth and strength of the Big 12 Conference. One thing I will say for TCU that they have to do today, they've got to control tempo. They've got to shorten the possessions, much like they did last year. A good sign, though, Kean Anderson, who had struggled for the last couple of games, 23 points the other night. He's back into that scoring mode. They'll need him to play well in Fort Worth today.
Yeah, tonight, 8 o'clock, again, ESPNU. Hey, a reminder, play basket pong at Phillips 66 for a chance to win prizes instantly. And you can shoot for $66,000. Phillips 66, proud to be here. And welcome back to Studio 66. Doug Bell and Brendan Manzer. You know, Texas, 6 players with at least 2 fouls. Baylor shot 21 free throws, and yet they're still down by 4. I think if you're Texas, you're like, whoo, I survived.
Yeah, some foul trouble to manage the second half for Rick Barnes. But, you know, Baylor, their defense has not been very good. They're last in the Big 12 Conference in field goal percentage defense, allowing teams to shoot 50% from the floor. And here's some of their challenges right now. Here's a little touch in the high post from Jonathan Holmes against Baylor's zone. Kenny Cherry, very little effort right there, no weak side rotation. Now, this is off a mate, Doug. You got to be able to get matched up and shore up your defense off one pass, a clear lane for Jonathan Holmes to drive from about 24 feet from the basket. Gets fouled, gets himself to the line. And right here, they lose containment up front. 3 guys with the opportunity to rotate over, none of which do that. And so right there, I mean, that's kind of a microcosm, I think, of what Baylor's struggles are right now. They have to get defensive stops, give better effort, have better rotation, containment up front, or it's going to be a long Big 12 season. I will say this, it got much better as the half progressed, and Scott Drew would have to be encouraged by that.
Spoken like a man who played under Eddie Sutton. who used to preach defense a little bit, right?
I dream about it. It was drilled in my head so much.
Hey, the other half of the Big 12 Network, it's Iowa State at home against K-State. And, of course, the Cyclones started out 14-0. They've lost 3 in a row in Big 12 play. The mayor, Fred Hoiberg, watching DeAndre Kane, coast to coast. I think Kane has finally gotten over that ankle thing that he had. He seems to be playing a little bit better, a little quicker maybe. George Niang. They were 8 of 11 from three-point range, Iowa State. And the Hilton Coliseum rocking today, Brendan.
Yeah, 2 things that are dangerous. You get Matt Thomas knocking them down, 8 threes the first half, only 5 turnovers. When Iowa State does that, very difficult to beat.
How about West Virginia at Oklahoma State? We were in Morgantown Wednesday. This is a West Virginia team that's getting better. Aaron Harris knocks down the 3. And then Jawan Staten, the best point guard maybe the country hasn't heard of. This kid is sensational. West Virginia now down by a point in a very good game. Check out Cameron Ridley, the big man with his stuff. Back after this from your friends at Phillips 66. To you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. And our Big 12 Player of the Week brought to you by Phillips 66, none other than Kansas' Nadir Tharp. And he's turned up his game and playing very well right now.
Yeah, taking good shots, managing the ball club. Another big reason why Kansas has continued to play very, very well.
And one of the games we're tracking today involving one of the 3 remaining unbeaten teams, number 2 Syracuse, Coach Boeheim down in Coral Gables taking on Miami. Oh, my. Check that out. Mr. Grant elevating and slamming it down for the Orange, and then Donovan Kirk. Second half, knocking it down. This has been a fun game to watch. Miami hasn't had a great year, but this would certainly make them feel better if they could pull this off. 4-point game with about 3.5 to play.
Yeah, Miami 9 of 15 from 3-point range. That's allowed them to have a chance.
Look at Rico Gathers go up over Mr. Ridley and score. We're right back after this.
Low-scoring first half. Texas leading Baylor here in Waco, 31-27. With Reed Geddes, I'm Dave Armstrong. We were trying to describe the half in the intermission. It was just weird, wasn't it?
You know, if you're Scott Drew, you only made 6 field goals. You're shooting 25%. Behind the line, you're shooting 0%. You're upside down in assist to turnovers, and yet you're only down 4.
So as they were, let's check out some highlights from the first half, brought to you by Shelter Insurance.
Isaiah Taylor led all scorers with 10 points, but maybe more important than his point total is how he broke down the Baylor zone with dribble penetrations. He did it again and again and again in half-court sets and transition for the Baylor Bears. Isaiah Austin had a good, solid first half. Had 7 points, did a nice job attacking the boards. Defensively, Isaiah Austin with 3 blocked shots in the first half.
So Austin was a factor, but some guys are in foul trouble as well. Let's go back to our Sonic Showdown. And today, sort of Ridley and Jefferson have X'd each other out because neither one was that productive in the first half, offensively anyway. And then there's Austin and Holmes. So it's about where
that's exactly right. Season averages, they cancel each other out in the first half. It's kind of a push.
So we'll see which team can get hot because there was no real rhythm in that first half for either club. Neither team really shot the ball well, especially from three-point range. Only 1 3-pointer made combined by the two teams. It's Baylor with the ball first.
Scott Drew, I don't know about hot. He'd take lukewarm right now.
Immediately they get it to Jefferson. Jefferson goes strong. His shot just a little bit short, and Holmes has the rebound. Felix is a non-factor in the first half because he was in foul trouble. Could be a big part of the story, too, in the second half. And those Texas players, who stays out of foul trouble is Holmes with 2 impressive rebounds to begin the second half. You see the field goals have been few and far between, and 0 for 9 for the Bears from three-point range. One of the best, in fact, the best three-point shooting team in the conference, and they're 0 for. Good penetration by Cherry.
Maybe the first time we've seen Kenny Cherry get an open lane to the basket. DeMarcus Holland has really frustrated him early in this game. Good post-entry pass. Well, that was too easy. I mean, just dribble down, duck in, and catch the ball with both feet in the paint.
Went back into the middle, too. Didn't go up over the right. Cherry again. Loses the handle. Here comes Felix. Taylor calling for that ball. Goes right down the paint.
Have you ever seen a kid get to the rim as easily and as often as Isaiah Taylor does? And finishes.
Yeah.
You know, that time he finished with the right hand, but he finishes as well with his left hand as he does his right.
Woodard's similar for Oklahoma. Yeah. You know, he can get in there as well, but boy, Isaiah Taylor is really causing the Bears fits right now, as Isaiah Taylor leading all scorers, coming right down into your den, as the Texas Longhorns now enjoying their biggest lead of the game. We invite you to play basket pong at Phillips 66. A chance to win prizes instantly and shoot for $66,000. Phillips 66, proud to be here. With Reed Geddes, I'm Dave Armstrong, courtside at the Farrell Center in Waco, Texas, where the Longhorns have gotten off to a 6-2 start to the second half, and Texas with an 8-point lead. A couple of changes for the Bears. As Torian Prince is checked in, so is Gathers, so is Wainwright. And a travel, another turnover for the Bears, another empty possession.
The right idea. Torian Prince at 6'7" was trying to post up 6'1" Isaiah Taylor. Taylor had pressure on him, and then as he caught the ball, he released that pressure, almost like pulling a chair out from under somebody when they're trying to sit down.
Does that surprise you? 20-8, the advantage in the paint for Texas.
The 20 doesn't surprise me. The 8 does.
That one kicked. It'll stay with Texas. With Baylor playing without a spark right now. They just need something to get
That's
going.
That's a great. They're flat, and they need some energy right now. Boy, if they weren't in a big enough hole already, they lose another one at home and start 1-5.
Felix, that three-pointer is well short. Long rebound to Wainwright. Prince, two-pointer. That's a 2. Holmes tries a 3. Nope. A little more up and down now. Prince. Well, that was a great behind-the-back pass, but then Ridley says, uh-uh.
Oh, my. Did Cameron Ridley eat that one up? Nice timing. It was a good up fake if he'd have just given Ridley a chance to go up and come back down. It was great timing by Ridley.
He got Holmes up, but not Ridley. Cherry. That three-pointer's no good. And again, the Bears 0 for 10 now from three-point range. And a whistle and a foul. This one is on Felix, his third.
Torian Prince caught that ball, and instead of just going up, he dipped. He grabbed that ball and went down low, and watch him allow the defense to get out there. He catches it, and you see him dip down and gather himself. You need to be shot ready when you receive that pass. Already have your body down so that when you catch it, all you do is go up.
Prince doesn't normally shoot a lot of threes. I think right now he's just trying to do something to get Baylor out of their funk. You know, some quicker possession. There's a good defense by Gathers. Here comes Prince. 2-on-1. Gathers, and he's fouled. That'll be 4 now on Felix. Big moment here as Javon Felix will have to go over to the bench. He has been in foul trouble throughout. Felix, not a single point in this game.
He got 2 cheap ones in the first half. That one was not a cheap one. He made a calculated risk to go strong after Rico Gathers. If you're Felix, what you'd like to have back is the 2 where you had little hands in the middle of the back on rebounds.
Do you let him go in that situation, knowing you have 3 fouls?
I do. You know, it's one of those situations that may not be, well, Rick's leaving him in. Yeah, no, he's not. That's miscommunication. Martez Walker told the wrong guy. Come on, freshman, think.
He didn't really care who was going in for.
I'm just in.
I don't
You
care.
guys figure it out.
Which one of you guys is coming out? I'm coming in.
Yeah, that usually doesn't work out so well.
Gathers hits both free throws. And Baylor back now to within 4.
Half-court trap.
Again, Taylor just gets around that like
just effortless.
They're not even there.
That's exactly right.
Ridley again. Where he gets 2 feet in the paint and then tipped home by Holmes.
Ridley got poked in the eye.
Gathers. Tipped up. Ridley's got it. With Taylor coming on the fly. That was partially blocked. Wainwright's trying to get out of the band. made a nice block and then got stuck. And comes back into play.
Texas players trailing that layup attempt had spread out. That would have been an easy putback. Instead, they were fighting each other.
Gathers, and he walked with it first. So again, another miscue for the Baylor Bears, who just not are in. They're just not in sync right now. And instead, inside, it's Jonathan Holmes. A big impact here in the second half.
How can you tell? But they tell me again, I'm sorry, they called it a 2.
They called it a 2.
Called it a 2.
Kip was right there. He called it a 2. Today's game brought to you by Puerto Rico Tourism Company. Live your own star vacation story. Puerto Rico, the all-star island. Visit cpuertorico.com. Welcome you back into the Farrell Center in Waco, Texas, where the Texas Longhorns have led the Baylor Bears pretty much throughout. Baylor had a 1-point lead once upon a time, but as they huddle up, they are probably right now thinking, how come we're shooting so poorly here today? Not a single three, although the officials are over checking a replay on a Torian Prince basket they called a 2. But these two teams combined, Reed, are 1 for 18 from three-point range right now.
Yeah, but look at the eyes right here. I mean, Kip is all over that. He's staring down straight at the foot. And, you know, David, it's amazing. Baylor comes into the game the best three-point shooting team in the Big 12. That was correctly called a 2-point field goal. So they are still 0 for 10 from behind the line. Listen, 25 minutes of basketball. The Baylor Bears have 8 field goals.
And 9 turnovers.
And 9 turnovers. They are getting dominated points in the paint. They're only shooting 26% from the floor. They are not supposed to be within 6 points.
And Texas is not settling for outside shots. In fact, all 4 of their field goals this half have come in the paint.
This is what Texas does to you. This is their kind of game. You know, they're kind of grinding and attacking and not always pretty. And really the difference in this basketball game, and it has been from the get-go, has been the play of Isaiah Taylor.
Absolutely. Looks like Baylor has made a small adjustment and packed the zone in a little bit more. It doesn't matter, though, as Ridley gets inside. And 5 field goals for the Longhorns this half, all of them in the paint.
Terrific job of Cameron Ridley sealing that forward on his backside.
Austin, got to make those. Here comes Taylor again. Count it. And he'll go to the line.
Take a look at this play and how it develops when the ball goes to the high post. It was the play before that. That was another nice finish by Isaiah Taylor.
So he's at the line already with 14 points, and this free throw expands the lead to 11. One of the common denominators for Texas during this 4-game win streak is they've held their opponents to 68 points. When they started off league play 0-2, they were giving up 87 points per game.
During the first few games, we're shooting 45% behind the three-point line, and since the winning streak just 28, Baylor now at 0% behind the three-point line.
Wainwright drives into the zone of Texas and is fouled.
Here's that Ridley play from a few moments ago. Watch him when he catches, when the ball hits the high post. You see the center come up, and Ridley seals down here on the weak side. And that is very good execution. The key that Jonathan Holmes is reading is he catches the ball, turn and look and see what the center, the middle of that 2-3 zone is doing. If he's sagging off of you, taking away the drop-off pass, you're Jonathan Holmes, you shoot. If he closes out to you, you count on Ridley doing his job and sealing down low.
If he seals, then you walk your opponent up the paint, give you even more room to the basket.
That was good execution.
1 of 2 from the line for Wainwright, and it's a 10-point game. Well, you get the sense that the Bears' season kind of on the line here today. Starting off just 1-4 in league play. They need this one badly.
This is a team that's lost 5 games. 4 of them are to ranked opponents. They have good wins against Kentucky, against Colorado, but they have got to right the ship here in conference play.
How about Texas looking to beat their 3rd-ranked opponent in a row? And you know how many times they've done that in their history?
Never.
0. They've never done that.
You know, it's amazing how many teams in the Big 12 are going to have that opportunity to say, you know, we played 4 ranked opponents in 5 games and 5 in 6 games, and recently you can say that's 6 and 7 games with all the ranked teams in the Big 12.
Well, the way Texas is playing, it won't be long before they're ranked.
Yeah, they should be ranked, in my opinion.
The foul is on Gathers, and he picked up his 4th. So it was a big body. It's going to have to come over to the bench for Baylor.
About the improvement at the free throw line, not only by all the Texas Longhorns, but especially Cameron Ridley and Prince Ebay. The first 11 games, Cameron Ridley shot a not very good 56%. The last 8, he is up at 69. Last year, this kid shot 33% from the free throw line.
Holmes has done a lot better.
Holmes a ton better. Went from 53% up to 81%.
And look at Taylor again, just creating havoc. I'll tell you right now, it's 50-50, it's hustle, it's all of those things that are going to Texas.
Not a real sense of urgency are you feeling from the Baylor basketball team right now. They need to be playing with a sense of urgency.
We got a 9-1 run right now by the Longhorns, so Rick Barnes got to be thrilled with what he's seeing. Scott Drew is not.
Really trying to seal this Wainwright again.
There's a travel on the part of DeMarcus Holland.
Well, if I'm Baylor, I think I want to get Corey Jefferson involved. Yes, he has been really, really quiet. This is a guy that's 2nd in the league in double-doubles, trailing only Ryan Spangler of Oklahoma, averaging 13 points, 8 rebounds.
They tried on the very first possession as Prince goes in. Nothing called. Jefferson mistimed his jump. It goes out of bounds. It will stay with Baylor.
And Scott Drew is furious. He felt that Prince got fouled that time by Cameron Ridley, and Cameron Ridley jumped straight up, the rule of verticality, but then he rotated his shoulders, and once you turn, you lose the right to that space above you.
Slip again. Holland's just right there with him. In and out, no good. Prince. Wainwright keeps it alive, and there's Jefferson. That was Wainwright, though.
See if that doesn't inject a little bit of energy for the Baylor Bears.
Inject a jolt is what they need. this far behind. Holmes. Wainwright, he's caught pushing off underneath, and Ridley.
Well, that's a good call, and they don't like it, but Cameron Ridley is eating Ish Wainwright up on this weak side, and Wainwright's getting caught behind him, and that shot goes up, and you just can't get around Cameron Ridley. Watch to the bottom corner of your screen. Watch the push in the back as he goes up for that rebound, and that's because Cameron Ridley is ducking inside of Ish when that shot goes up.
It's a third foul on Wainwright, fourth team foul on Baylor this half. Tipped out on the inbound play. Here comes Wainwright. Takes it strong and then tipped home by Prince. A little life in the Bears now. And the crowd's back into it.
Ish Wainwright's got a little Royce White in it.
Yeah. Just a freshman, too, out of Kansas City, Wainwright. Three-pointer, no. Ridley. Holmes fighting with his own teammate for the rebound. It goes off of Baylor and out of bounds. And it will belong to the Longhorns when we come back. 11:52 remaining in the game. And Taurean Prince is trying to get the Bears back in the conversation in this one.
'66, a good one in Ames, Iowa. K-State actually tied this at 50, and now in the last couple of minutes, Iowa State has spread their wings a little bit. Nice passing here. Dustin Ho gets inside for the hoop. David Reed, 59-53, 9.5 to play.
All right, thanks a lot, Doug. Iowa State in desperate need of a win at home, much like Baylor is here today. The Cyclones started off 14-0, and now they've lost 3 in a row. Kansas State has been, along with Texas, I think 2 of the most surprising teams in the league this year. Ridley has it blocked. Jefferson, maybe that dunk got him going. Would you agree with that? Texas and K-State have been 2 huge surprises.
Absolutely. I put Oklahoma in there as well. But there is no question about Texas and Kansas State.
Heslip off a high pick. Can't get it to go. My goodness. 0 for 11, the Bears from three-point range. That was a good set, though.
Yeah, it was. First clean look he's had.
It was. Quick spin move, and then a block by Jefferson. 2 good moves. There's Heslip in transition.
Nice
got there quickly, And then stepping on the sideline, Franklin, another turnover. Ridley has just been controlling the glass for the Longhorns. Scott Drew is not happy about that, as Cameron Ridley has a career high 13 rebounds in this game.
Cameron will learn to up fake after he makes that drop step. Right now, Corey Jefferson is just measuring him. He knows that he's going to drop step and go straight up. He makes that drop step and lifts, and he'll be able to go up and through the defensive player.
You know what's amazing is this 0 for 11 from three-point range on the heels of Baylor shooting so well at Allen Fieldhouse from three-point range. In that game alone, Heslip was 6 for 9 from three-point range. Boy, somebody woke up Jefferson, didn't they? Had a couple of blocks, a slam dunk. He just got clobbered in the paint, nothing called. And now a whistle, and they'll stop play.
Corey Jefferson, this is about his third consecutive block on the defensive end. The problem is the ball coming down in the Longhorns' hands. It's like every 50-50 ball's ending up with the Longhorns.
No foul called away from the action. That one on Franklin. And that's the first on Franklin. And here comes Baylor. Some signs of life for the Bears. Prince goes in. Ridley hammers him, and that'll put Prince at the line. A little more aggression now from the Bears.
Scott Drew's team's done a nice job at the free throw line, done a nice job getting there. They are 18 for 25 coming into these attempts by Taurean Prince.
And they've outscored Texas Reed by 7 points in this department. That's what's keeping them in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Interesting bench points right now, 11 to 12. And this is a Baylor basketball team, and a lot of it can be traced to the struggles right now of Brady Heslip and Gary Franklin, but it's a Baylor team that the bench averages 30 points per game.
Prince right now the only Bear in double figures. He's got 10 points. Rebound by Lammert. Here's Felix back in the game now for Texas. Oh, that was almost over and back. Felix playing with 4 fouls. Taylor again. Count that. And a push by Wainwright.
Hey, credit that basket to Prince eBay. He sealed the center down here. Watch him as he comes into the right of your screen. Look right here up at the top. See Prince eBay? He's right here. You see his feet. He has sealed and created this driving lane, and that is a terrific job by eBay.
Taylor now with 18 points. It's a new career high for him.
And 10 minutes to play.
Jefferson. And eBay commits the foul. That'll be 4 now on eBay. This could be a battle of attrition. I just like the fact that for Baylor anyway, Corey Jefferson he's been more aggressive in the last 5 minutes of this game. Kenny Cherry checking back in for the Bears. Ranked number 24 in the country. Baylor has beaten Texas 7 of their last 10 times they've met. And all that on the heels of a 24-game losing streak for Longhorns.
Take it a step further. In-state opponents Baylor has dominated since 2011, 19-2 against opponents from the state of Texas.
Taylor again. Well, he's been living right there.
I just, you know, at some point you got to do something different against him. You can't just keep pressing out on him and letting him dribble past you.
He is 8 of 16 from the field, 20 points in this contest.
And if we had a shot chart, they would all be within about 8 feet. This match inside.
With authority, Prince. And a timeout taken by Scott Drew.
Now, what Scott wants to talk to him about is not the offensive play. He's not concerned about breaking momentum after a nice up fake and attack by Taurean Prince. He's concerned about what's happening on the other end of the court, and you can't just trade baskets. You've got to play better defense on the ball, and boy, you just turn around and Isaiah Taylor gets the ball. And what good is going to happen if you're pressuring him out 25 feet from the basket? Do you think you're going to strip him? Maybe, probably not.
Right.
The chances are something negative is going to happen. So he catches the basketball, take 3 steps back. And I'd even talk to him. Shot, it's your shot. You're open.
Go ahead.
You're open. Look, you're open. But do something different other than just keep allowing this young man to dribble into the gut of a zone defense and shoot layups.
And if you're Isaiah Taylor, you're hoping they pressure you out there. Not good.
Right.
You're just playing right into my
I'm talking
hands.
the other way. You can't hold me, brother. You can't hold me. You can't hold me. Come on out here. You can't hold me.
Oh, what a breakout day for Isaiah Taylor. He's been good all year, but today even more so. 20 points for the Longhorns. They lead it by 9 with 9 minutes to go.
Baylor going man-to-man. Here's the adjustment. Challenge on Gary Franklin guarding Isaiah Taylor. Nice adjustment.
It's Taylor and Franklin. And it doesn't matter. Taylor gets in anyway.
Yeah, look, that's who's ever guarding Connor Lambert. That was a total breakdown. Gary Franklin got on the high side, pushed down, and there was nobody to push him into.
And a block, but a foul on the play. And this one is on Isaiah Taylor.
Isaiah Taylor with a foul. It's his first.
Third foul on Isaiah Taylor.
Baylor going blue on the on-the-ball screen, which means you push the ball down away from the screen. If you do that, you have to have excellent communication. Whoever's defending the screen has got to step off the screen and take away the dribble penetration. They only did half of it. Look at the push down right here, and you see Torian Prince went all the way out up on the high side of Connor Lambert. That is a breakdown by Torian Prince.
Taylor, by the way, Reed, has scored the last 7 points for the Longhorns. Franklin, three-pointer, got it. Maybe that's the one that gets him going. Well, hopefully if you're a Bear fan, you're thinking that's what gets Baylor going. First 3 of the game for the Bears after missing their first 11. Holland from the wing answers with a 3. All right, let's have a shootout now.
That is just the 9th three-point field goal in 19 games for DeMarcus Holland. Ooh, good fake.
Holmes has yet another rebound. That is now for Holmes 6 rebounds to go along with his 10 points. Leaks his first points of the game.
Well, maybe this is why Baylor doesn't want to play man-to-man. They are struggling with simple on-the-ball screens. That was a screen, re-screen, and now the largest lead of the game for the Longhorns.
Jefferson decided against it. Getting down to crunch time now. The lob inside. Jefferson. And another timeout taken by Scott Drew.
Now that was set up by a good back screen by Gary Franklin. If you have a good shooter, see him set the back screen. Isaiah Taylor helps out, but then he runs off and leaves Corey Jefferson before Jonathan Holmes had cleared that back screen. That might be the best offensive sequence Baylor's had in a while. Watch the screen coming from down low. He comes up, sets that back screen. Isaiah Taylor initially goes with him and then turns Jefferson loose too early. Well, Baylor needed that. They needed a good offensive set where they got a good look at the basket.
Look at this, though. Baylor is out of timeouts. They've called timeouts on their last 2 offensive possessions after getting some slam dunks inside. And now Scott Drew and the Bears are out of timeouts. So let's look at our 6th man of the game, brought to you by Motel 6. And Gary Franklin, after really struggling, finally gets the first 3 of the game for the Bears.
And not big points, but like you said, the fact that he knocked down a 3, suddenly Texas has to adjust to that and allows him to set a nice back screen. So right now, a little bit of a spark for the Bears from Gary Franklin.
And you see no timeouts remaining for Baylor.
Well, that may be a big deal.
Do you go back to zone now if you're Baylor?
I don't know. It's hard to play from behind in a 2-3 zone, but 7 minutes is a lot of time. And, you know, it's not like the zone was working either.
Well, that's true. Texas has been much more efficient this half, leading at 58-47. Again, here's what's at stake. Texas, they have won 4 straight games after dropping their first 2 in the Big 12. The Longhorns are looking to beat 3 ranked opponents for the first time in school history. The Bears, meanwhile, they've lost 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. The Bears are trying to be a factor. A lot of people pick Baylor 3rd in this league behind Oklahoma State and Kansas, and here the Bears are. They are in 9th place out of 10 teams in the Big 12.
Back to the zone.
Right back into the paint. He has been making a living right there. 24 points for Isaiah Taylor. His previous career high 17.
Yeah, that's a goaltend. That's a continuation. And
Isaiah Taylor is making some noise for Texas. We're back after this from our friends at Phillips 66.
West Virginia is making a run in Stillwater. Check out Aaron Harris. Down by 3. Harris will get open, knock it down. It's a tie game now. A 2-point lead for West Virginia. 13 minutes to go. Dave and Reed.
Well, that would send some shockwaves. Thanks, Doug. As West Virginia 3-3 in Big 12 play, the Cowboys at 3-2. Here in Waco, it has been the Isaiah Taylor show. He has 24 points, a career high, and how about this? 9 of his 10 field goals have been in the paint.
Now you think of points in the paint, and right now the Longhorns are plus 14, but you don't think of that differential coming from your point guard position.
Isaiah Austin back in there now for the Bears. He gets trapped. Able to work out of that. Baylor looking to make a field goal on consecutive possessions for the first time today. Nope. Still haven't done it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
They have not had consecutive field goals in this game.
A lot of things amazing about what Baylor has done here today. 1 for 12 from three-point range stands out. Felix, he's kind of watched Isaiah Taylor do it all day.
Texas going to a zone.
Franklin trying to get it. Ridley, good hands. Austin put a little extra on it when he saw Ridley come over. Ridley changed that shot. And a whistle and a foul on Cherry.
With the new emphasis on freedom of movement, it is tough to pressure guards when you're playing from behind and you're trying to force turnovers. It's hard to get out there and be physical on the ball.
So DeMarcus Holland will go to the line. Holland is one of those guys that has a huge impact on a game if he hardly even scores. It doesn't matter about his scoring because his defense is so good.
He may not be Texas's MVP, but I would make a pretty good argument that he's the MIP.
Most important.
Yeah, he may be.
He's got 6 points today. He has done a real good job in kind of alternating between Kenny Cherry and whoever else they bring into the game, most notably Brady Heslett, and not allowing those guys to get free from the perimeter. Franklin goes right down the paint. He's fouled on the play by Holmes. He'll go to the line. Good play by Gary Franklin.
Marcus Holland got an elbow to the gut and doubled him up a little bit as he's coming over. You see him double over. Boy, that's a good, strong finish by Gary Franklin.
Franklin with a half dozen points. Remember, he's only averaged 1 point in his last 4 games. Breaking out of it here today. Completes the three-point play. It's a 13-point game.
Full press after the made free throw.
And a timeout taken by Coach Barnes. He has 3 remaining.
Timeout, Texas, the second.
Today's Big 12 Network game brought to you by Phillips 66. Proud to be here. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer to see why thousands of people are switching to Buick. Well, if you're a Bear fan, that Bear needs to start growling a little bit. And this Baylor team down 13 with 5 minutes to go. And you get the sense that more than just this game is on the line for Scott Drew and Baylor. I mean, they started off with an impressive record in their non-conference portion, including a win over Kentucky. They were in the top 10 once upon a time. But right now, losing this game by 13.
If you're Baylor, statistically, there's 2 guys that struggle shooting free throws, and that's DeMarcus Holland and Cameron Ridley. And, well, you don't want to give them any baskets without fouling them.
Ridley misses from point-blank range on a good dish from Taylor. That's the first miss for Texas, though, in their last 7 field goal attempts. Austin trying to turn the corner. That's a little wild. And then there's Ridley. Ridley, career high in rebounds. He has just blown up on the glass. 14 rebounds today for Cameron Ridley. And a whistle and a foul. That will send Holmes to the line.
Foul call on Torian Prince. It is his third team foul.
Third foul on Prince. By the way, there are 8 team fouls on Baylor, 7 on Texas. So both teams are in the bonus.
This free throw line for Jonathan Holmes has improved so much. Last year he's around 59%. He's up at 81%, which is outstanding from the line.
His shooting has improved so much, and he did a lot of work in the offseason.
He shot 1,000 shots a day, and you would see the improvement from the free throw line and from the three-point line and say, oh, you know, he shot 1,000 three-pointers. No, he did not shoot outside of 15 feet. Emphasis on 4 form shooting, and he figured he could replicate that whatever distance he was from the basket. But boy, that is a testimony to working on your form.
You start using the clock a little bit?
Oh, there's no question.
And a timeout taken by Rick Barnes. That's what he wants to talk over with his team right now, with 3:44 remaining and a 13-point advantage. The danger is in taking too much air out of the ball, and then you allow Baylor to maybe get, you know, a little bit momentum going.
You know, it's hard to do. It's hard to communicate to kids, but what you really would like to do is run your offense. Just don't look to shoot till the clock gets down under 10, as opposed to let's stand out here, dribble, 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 and then suddenly you're in a panic situation where you've got to go score.
Well, later tonight on ESPNU. In fact, at 8 o'clock tonight, Andrew Wiggins and Joel Embiid are leading KU to this 5-0 start in league play as the Jayhawks look for their 10th straight Big 12 title. It's amazing. 14-4 overall for KU. And, of course, last year, everyone remembers what happened in Fort Worth, TCU, with the biggest upset of the year in the Big 12. And I'm sure KU is looking for a little payback tonight down at the Daniel Meyer Coliseum.
Somebody for the Jayhawks might mention that game a couple of times.
might be.
Now Baylor's in a hole. They've got to get out of it. They've got to get stops first and foremost. And right now the clock is not your friend if you're Scott Drew. You got to get quick looks at the basket on top of consecutive stops. And they have struggled so much in this game just trying to get consecutive baskets made.
And there's the good difference maker in this game. I would dare say that the coaching staff of Texas might have been, I wouldn't say concerned, but more anticipatory about what Taylor would do today against this zone. Well, he's just blown the zone up with his penetration. There's Holmes. Well, there's that improved shooting.
Yeah, that's what you do is you go ahead and run your offense. You saw him catch the ball. He turned immediately and looked at the center and said, what are you doing? And Jonathan Holmes, when you're shooting 81% from the free throw line, you don't pass up the elbow jump shot.
Moran Trentz can't hit the three. Here comes Holland on the fly, blocked by Prince. Franklin. That would have made a SportsCenter top 10 almost from half court. Franklin to Jefferson, but he misses the jam and it goes out of bounds. That's the kind of day it's been for Scott Drew and the Bears. Five to 50, and the big reason the Longhorns have a 15-point advantage is Isaiah Taylor.
He has dominated this basketball game, Dave, and he's done it from the beginning, and he's done it in the paint. He is 10 for 18 from the floor, a perfect 4-4 from the line, 24 points, a new career high. He's got 3 assists, add in 3 steals, and Isaiah Taylor has been the difference in this basketball game. And the Baylor Bears have had no answer for this young man.
They really haven't. Taylor has pretty much gone on the court where he's wanted to go. And now with 3 minutes remaining in the contest, we'll see if Texas can pull off their 5th straight win. And the last 3 of those over ranked opponents. Looking to foul Holmes, couldn't get to him. And they got Ridley. Worked out well for Baylor, actually.
Yeah.
Because they fouled Ridley, who's much worse at the line than Holmes.
Jonathan Holmes is laughing. He couldn't get control of the ball to get it to Ridley quick enough. The double team ran out there on the perimeter, left big Cameron Ridley under the basket all by himself.
2 shots for Cameron Ridley.
So 2 shots for Ridley here. Texas today at the line as a team is 13 of 23. So that's what kept them from even a bigger advantage. And those are 2 ugly ones for Ridley. Franklin. Blocked by Ridley.
Goodness gracious. That ball didn't have a chance. I'm glad the ball didn't get popped. Gary Franklin coming back and answering in the corner.
So Franklin hits 2 threes in this game. In fact, he's hit both threes for the Bears. That's right. That's the only 2 they've hit all day. 2 of 14.
Less than 10% from the best 3-point shooting basketball team in the Big 12 this year, the Baylor Bears. It has been frustrating, to say the least. And on top of that, they're only shooting 29% from the floor. I'm not sure that Isaiah Taylor is introducing himself to anybody today. I don't want to overstate it and say it's a breakout game. Man, has he been good.
He's been really good.
He's been really good.
I would say this, the message to other teams, don't play zone against him.
Yeah, that's right.
He's figured that out pretty quickly.
Which is ironic. You think that's what you would play against a non-shooter.
Austin can't get it to go, and then a foul on Prince, just trying to keep the ball alive, and that'll send Holmes back to the line.
Foul called on Torian Prince. It's his 4th.
A 14-point lead for the Longhorns. This game would not even be close had they done a better job converting at the free throw line.
Yeah, you're right. It's 15 of 26 from the line, only 57%. And there's another miss.
3 misses for Jonathan Holmes, an 81% free throw. You talk about percentages. You want all of your guys over 70%. 75 you're excited about. 80% you're ecstatic. I mean, you're one of the best free throw shooters in the conference, if not the country, at over 80%.
Jefferson tries a 3. Got it. Corey Jefferson, only his 7th 3 of the year.
Jefferson.
Looks like too little too late, though.
He's brought to you by the First National Bank of Central Texas.
They're going to foul Holmes again. Stops the clock with 1:41 remaining. Well, the Longhorns will have a week in between this game and their next game, which is a huge home game against the Kansas Jayhawks. It's a week from today. Rick Barnes knowing coming in that this was going to be a very tall order against the Baylor Bears, especially with the fact that Baylor had 3 straight losses. He knew he was going to get their best effort.
The Jayhawks come to town, give the Longhorns an opportunity to match what the Jayhawks did earlier this year, beating 4 consecutive top 25 opponents.
And the good news stories for the Bears today is they got Franklin going a little bit, as he has 12 points. And Texas, again, a week to prepare for the 8th-ranked Jayhawks. Then they go to TCU and Kansas State. And in all, they're going to go through a stretch where they have 8 ranked opponents in 10 games.
That's nuts.
I know.
I was just counting up, and you saw me using my fingers going, wait a second, that's a lot of ranked opponents.
That's the Big 12 this year.
It is. This is a basketball team that surprisingly, or surprising to some, lost a home game, a close game to Oklahoma, lost in Stillwater, and then rattled off a close win at home against Texas Tech. Rick Barnes' team beat West Virginia, beat Iowa State, beat Kansas State. And looking to win his 3rd consecutive game over a top 25 opponent.
I think what might happen, and I don't have a vote, but I think what might happen is we might see these 2 teams flip-flop in the rankings. I think Texas will come in and Baylor will go out.
You're probably right.
They just hasn't had any freedom today at all. They have done a good job in the scouting report finding Heslop wherever he is on that perimeter. Under a minute to go, and Texas will win their 5th straight game, and for the Baylor Bears, their 4th straight loss and their 5th in the last 6 games. Each team has shot 32 free throws in this game. So Scott Drew right now just lost in his thoughts of what does he do now to get this team kick-started again after such a brilliant start to the season. They take on a West Virginia team who's playing Oklahoma State tough today, and then they go to Stillwater.
You know, if you're Scott Drew and Grant McCaslin and Jerome Tang, the missing shots is not correctable. That's not something you say, oh, let's just shoot better. The defense is correctable. They've got to do a better job when they run the 2-3 zone. They've got to play better defense if they're going to get back into this conference race and have a shot at the NCAA tournament.
Baylor's not going to foul, so Texas can't quite dribble out the game, but almost. What a good win today for the Longhorns. I mean, this is a huge road win for Texas.
Single-digit turnovers. We talked about a key being the Longhorns did not need to have very many live turnovers. They've kept that down to 8. One of their best assist games of the year, 15 assists in this game.
So that man right there, Isaiah Taylor, I think he's got a real good shot at the Newcomer of the Week award in the Big 12. Franklin at the buzzer will put 2 more home. He has 14 on the day, but Rick Barnes, Texas Longhorns, come into Baylor and beat the Bears. So a 3-game win streak against top 25 opponents, and Texas behind Isaiah Taylor in a career-high 27. They dominate the Bears as we head back to the Studio 66 with Doug Bell.